it's Sharon Hankins here with another DIY live project here for you on the Essential Stencils page. I'm doing a little board using one of the transfers from the Fall Forest Gnomes, which are still in stock, and you can get these. I think the more you order of the transfers, the better the savings are, because you know these are single one-off transfers. Giant big tree, and I wanted to see if I can fit the tree on my fall transfer set. Alright, so what we're going to do is pop this big large tree, which comes right out to the edges. It may even go over the edges. And what I'm also going to use is one of the sets from the 1-inch forwards, which are no longer in stock. They're out of stock at the moment, but if you do go find the 1-inch forwards on the Essential Stencil website, they do have a notification button where you can be notified when they've done a restock. So all we're doing is, has anyone not used the rub-on transfers yet? Let me see. Look, there's some little fall leaves on this one, for example, little tiny leaves. One little missing leaf it won't matter so much. Use it to practice on. And it really is so easy. Just cut out that little leaf, get a little piece of board or cardboard, rub it on. You've seen us do it, and this fall tree is looking just adorable. So I've got 20 words to choose from on here. I'm thinking, let me know if you've got a favorite word from the 20 1-inch fall words. I'm thinking thankful or grateful, something like that. You could do family, blessed with that. And it just feels so beautiful and smooth on the surface once you've got it all transferred on there. And sometimes you can see the little edging, but I usually just, if you do rub your finger over that, you don't see it as much. Also when you put on the a sealer in the end. Okay, so we are going to put on here, let's do the word grateful, I think. Grabbing some white casement in the fusion colour, and let's get a brush to do some little words on, and a cardboard to offload my paint onto. Now this is just packaging from my Stencil of the Month club set. And just got to be careful not to make it go over the edge. If you wanted to, you could tape it down with painter's tape, but how easy was that? Now I can do that round swirling motion because I've got hardly any paint on the brush. If I had more paint on the brush, it would kind of seep under, and that's what we call bleeding under the stencil, and it causes really fuzzy edges. So as you can see, that's nice and crisp lines on the stencil because we've used hardly any paint on the brush. If you wanted to, you could add a second coat to that to kind of make it a little bit more crisp once that's dried. And maybe I will. I think it just needs to pop out just a little bit more. There we go. Oh, that's better. So I could see how that just gave it a bit more of a pop. I'm going to use Fall Family and Football, and I think I was going to use this little truck. So this comes with 6 different signs on it. We've got that, we've got autumn, that one, and then of course that one. So these are all the ones. Football season, I just like this. Faith, no, I was going to say Faith Family Football. You could have that too. Fall Family Football and a little truck. All right, so some colours. We've got a wood background, so we want to make sure it's going to stand out on our wood background. I think, I was thinking of adding something underneath, maybe using a bit of black underneath the car and then adding the red on top. So I want to make these words stand out with the white, and that's casement white. Now if you're in the USA, which most of you are, some news that's just dropped is that Fusion Mineral Paint has created another white called Snowdrop, and it's apparently their whitest white yet. So if you're looking for a pure crisp white, Fusion is coming out with the colour Snowdrop. So they've announced that on their page, and it should be at your local retailers and on the online shop on Saturday the 13th. It's one little way that we can earn a tiny little bit of commission for just sharing our DIY projects with you, for sharing how that you can use the paints and the stencils and the transfers and everything. And maybe I could add some little red to that berry. But having the white underneath all of this will create a nice base. Okay, so let's have a look. I love that sound. Anyone hear that? The sound of the stencil leaving the paint behind. There we go. Nice and crisp lettering because we used hardly any paint on the brush. offloading it as much as you can. Okay, so now I can just add our truck here, and I might. So I'll use this cranberry red because I love this as a vintage red. It's a fun colour to use for that. I can come back and do the tyres black on the car, on the truck also. Has anyone got this set? Well, until a male person comes. Okay, so see how we've got everything covered there except for the football. So let's have a look for a different colour. Now the best I could come up with was this iron clay. We'll see how that turns out. It might look footballish. Maybe we should add a little bit more brown to it. I don't know. But I do like that it's a football. I mean, it's a it's a fall kind of colour. But if I just place that board right there, and then I can go right in the corner where that football is. Cardboard. There we go. Now what we probably could do is just add a bit of black. So that, those little, what do you call that? The laces, the lacing on the football. It's probably going to be wood because that's my background. So what I should have done on the football is painted that white first. This white part of on the side here. And remember, hopefully I'm not trying to get in the edges. See how I don't talk when I'm really concentrating? Okay, so I'm just going in that part, and then I'm going to get these laces here. Make sure they're all white. Then when I put the stencil back down, I'll do the brown back over it again. Okay, so that's how we get to do this bit. Just had that idea then, so I'm hoping that it works. And I think there's a little part down here. One thing I did want to do before I lift it up is the black. And that way I can just pounce it really close to the edge and not accidentally go over the edge. So that worked fine. Olive, just wait. That worked. I'm ready to see if that worked. Okay, I think it did. Tannish colour. So I've just shifted this football slightly off a bit. You can see that. Add this brown on here. And we'll still see some white coming through under the football. I'll show you what I mean. So see how we can still see some white there because I've shifted the stencil slightly. That's called shadowing. So I could do that with, say, the word family or with fall, using some other colours. Brownie colour, which is a nice fall colour in parts. And then we could use that red. Remember we used the cranberry red? And while I'm there, I'll do those berries as well. So just a little speckle. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so just adding a bit more red on here. Stencil that you can purchase anything from their online shop. And if you have any questions about stenciling, crafting, DIY, transfers. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So you see how that really just pops. Yeah, so we'll be looking for some 3 winners now. And so we have done. And I will see you next week for another fun DIY project. Bye.